What's going on, everybody? C4 here. Welcome back to the channel, and in our final breakdown of the 2020 NFL Draft, it is time to talk about the steals. Steals are what everyone hopes their team gets in the draft. These are the guys that make or break, can win a Super Bowl for you if you hit on enough of them. We've seen it times past. Seattle Seahawks, the most recent, where they would just dominate day 2, day 3 of the drafts, getting guys that are going to be long-term starters. That's why they were one of the best teams for the better part of the decade. And unfortunately, if you're a Seahawks fan, last couple drafts haven't been particularly great. I think your team success is a relation of that, but we're not going to dog the Seahawks. We've already done 2 videos. We did one where we talked about each team's best picks and threw in an overall draft grade. We did a video where we talked about each team's worst picks, but today, finishing up the videos, the steals. Every team going through all 30 teams, starting with Arizona, going over to Washington. What was the steal for each team? We're going to start here with the Arizona Cardinals. They had 2 steals. I officially only would go with one answer. I thought Josh Jones in the 3rd round. I had a late first, early 2nd round grade for a team that absolutely needed a tackle. Opted not to go with a tackle like a Wirfs or Becton at 8 and get Isaiah Simmons. Still get a really nice tackle prospect in the 3rd round. But the value is Eno Benjamin in the 7th round. I had him as a fringe. I think I had him in my top 10 running backs. And this is a team that, needs to find their identity at running back. They got rid of David Johnson, which is probably good, getting rid of that contract. You got Kenyon Drake, short-term deal. Eno Benjamin, insane value here. He would have been a steal in the 5th round. He would have been a steal in the 6th round. The fact that he was still there in the 7th round, it's too much to pass up. But good value here in the Josh Jones pick and the Eno Benjamin pick. Atlanta, best value pick for them. I'm going to say it's Matt Hennessy. A little bit of a weird pick, because you still got Alex Mack, who hasn't really regressed too much. He is getting up there in age. This is going to be a successor. I don't know if you can move him into guard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if one of these guys can move to guard, but he's going to be a backup, I think, long-term, getting a guy that's, probably the 2nd best center in the draft. Getting him in the 3rd round. It was not a great draft for value here, I will say, for Atlanta, especially getting like A.J. Terrell in the 1st round. But I think Matt Hennessy would be considered the best value pick. Not going to talk about steals, but the best value pick for the Atlanta Falcons. Baltimore. All right, best value picks. I would say it's a steal is Justin Madubuike in the 3rd round at pick number 71. I think he was a top 5 defensive tackle in the class. I think ESPN had him at number 4. Jesus, I mean, he's gonna get sit behind Calais Campbell. He's got to learn behind Calais Campbell. He's going to emerge as a defensive end in that scheme. Again, home run. You could argue Dobbins in the 2nd round was good value. Harrison in the 3rd. Prochet, maybe the best hands in the draft in the 6th round, slot guy. But a guy that I think immediately will be able to challenge with Willie Snead. But I think overall, Madubuike, 3rd round. I thought for sure he would go in the 2nd. A steal for the Baltimore Ravens. Buffalo Bills. They did well. Epineza, 1st round talent, getting him in the 2nd round. Moss is, these guys are good picks, but at appropriate value. But getting Jake Fromm. I have, obviously, as a Gator fan, I think Jake Fromm is an average quarterback, but from an unbiased perspective, he definitely does have a ceiling. There's definitely a developmental option, and he's a great fit to be that backup quarterback that can grow and learn, and maybe you get something. Could be trade bait down the line here behind Josh Allen for the Buffalo Bills. This, Philadelphia, is the range you draft if you're a quarterback factor or not, your backup quarterback. Not in the goddamn 2nd round. So, congrats. This was their best value pick. A lot of people thought Jake Fromm, 2nd, 3rd round, somewhere in that territory. Obviously, difference of opinion on where he really rates as a prospect, but good backup and good round. Good round to get him. I also like Hodgins. Didn't drop a lot of balls. Big wide receiver, fits what they needed for Buffalo. Dane Jackson, I had a 5th round grade on him. Get him in the 7th round. Another good corner for McDermott to coach up. Carolina. Steal for Carolina is getting Gross Matos. Your Gross Matos. I had a 1st round grade on him. They got him at pick 38. Going to be great for that multiple front. I think he can play 3-4 outside linebacker. He can play 4-3 defensive end. High ceiling. If they can tap into it, I think Matt Rule will be able to do so. So a really good value pick there on a guy that should have went in the 1st round for the Carolina Panthers. Chicago Bears, best value pick for the Bears. He was also highlighted as our best pick, and that was Jalen Johnson. I had a 1st round grade on him. They got him all the way at pick 50, and I think if I had to make a bold take, I think he's going to be a starting corner opposed Kyle Fuller this season. So really nice pick there for the Chicago Bears. Cincinnati Bengals, best value pick for the Bengals is going to be Akeem Davis-Gaither at 107. I had a third-round grade on him. Really, really modern-day linebacker for a team that absolutely needs to get better at linebacker. Logan Wilson's going to help. I would not be shocked if Marcus Bailey in the 7th round also helps, but Davis Gaither in the 4th round was really solid value there for the Cincinnati Bengals at a position of need. Cleveland Browns, best value pick for me is going to be Grant Delpit. He was their best pick, and I think he's their best value pick in the 4th round. I had a first-round grade. I think when all is said and done, could and should be as long as he takes it to some development, can wrap up his tackling a little bit better, should be the best safety in this draft class 3, 4, 5 years from now. And they got that in the 2nd round. Very similar fall as his teammate from 2 years ago, Greedy Williams, did, and he fell right in the Cleveland Browns' lap. And for the Browns that need to add more safeties, this is a really, really good value pick. You could also argue Nick Harris could be their starting center when all said and done. 5th round, they got Donovan Peoples-Jones, great athlete to grow and develop in the 6th round. Some good value picture for the Browns, but I think Delpit in the 2nd was the best. Dallas, oh boy. Take your pick. I officially went with Neville Gallimore, who I had in my mock draft, going to the Tennessee Titans in the 1st round. They got him in the 3rd round. Great defensive tackle. I think he's a better player than Tristan Hill, who was their top pick last season. You could argue Diggs was a value pick. He had some 1st round buzz. You could argue Tyler Bidash, who could, when all said and done, emerge as a top center for a team whose center surprisingly retired this offseason, who Philadelphia let them have this pick, even though Philadelphia has uncertainty at center beyond this year with Jason Kelsey. I would say that the edge here for Gallimore is Bidash does have the medical red flag. That's the reason why he did slip. So if there is still the medical issues, this pick might not be able to show its true value versus someone like Gallimore, who is a A-tier athlete as a defensive tackle and can grow and develop into a nice starter. And another Canadian for the Dallas Cowboys. Their long snapper, I'm pretty sure, is Canadian. They got Tyron Crawford, who's Canadian. I'm very conflicted at this time. I don't know how to feel. Denver Broncos, best value pick here for the Denver Broncos. They had a bunch. Take your pick here. Cushenberry in the 3rd round. Some people had him in the conversation for best center. Albert O could be. I had Albert O more as a 3rd, 4th rounder, but because of how he dominated the combine, could view that as a good pick. But I'm going Nite Muti. I had him as a top 3 guard in this year's draft class. The red flag, kind of like Bidash, who we just talked about for the Dallas Cowboys. Red flag is why he slipped to this range, but if he's healthy, he's an upgrade. He can honestly, you could have a 6th round pick that could take over for Ron Leary. Ron Leary, that big free agent they got from Dallas, hit free agency again. I think you could have a potential starter in Muti in the 6th round. This is a steal pick in every sense of the word if he stays healthy. Detroit, value, steal pick for the Detroit Lions. I like Huntley. I love Cephas. I mocked him to him. Aquar in the 3rd round, maybe good value. It's DeAndre Swift. Now, this is purely because he was my running back 1, and they got him in the 2nd round at pick 35. You could argue the positional value. You could say the running backs for Detroit it's a healthy position. Bo Scarborough came on as a nice power back. If you have a healthy Kerryon Johnson, a healthy Bo Scarborough, do you need another running back to add to the mix? But the value is there. Getting a guy I thought would go in the 1st round for sure at pick 35. So I'm going to say that is the value pick for the Detroit Lions. Not a steal though, because again, it's still a big investment for a position. I would argue you didn't need to go this early on, but the prospect value is absolutely there. Value pick here for Green Bay, the worst draft. This was absolutely tough, and I had to just factor to the one pick that's intriguing is Jordan Love. Could be the best pick because you did have to trade up for a guy that has a very high ceiling, as high of a ceiling as any quarterback in this class. He just fell into your lap at pick 26. So even though view it this way, you made a kind of weird selection that definitely pisses off Aaron Rodgers, but maybe it's not the worst decision to make. This is the exact same time you drafted Aaron Rodgers on Brett Favre. And he didn't trade up. It wasn't like you had to give up a lot of assets to move up and to get Jordan Love. Even though I think with how the rest of the draft went, you'd rather just have those picks not show up on the old official record sheet. But an awkward value pick given here to Green Bay for getting Jordan Love. Houston, let's just put it this way. The reason why, the last fact is usually when you get a quarterback in the 1st round, you trade up to get the guy you want. And if Green Bay really wanted him, he fell to them. So there's a value there. Houston, best value pick for them. This one's a little bit tough. I wasn't rating Blackwell. I would say Grenard, I guess. I like John Grenard. This is just a de facto. I like this pick. 3rd round is about where he should have went. And he's a good fit. I'm going to be pulling for him. Indianapolis, best value pick here. Could be, Jonathan Taylor slipping to them in the 2nd round, but kind of like DeAndre Swift to the Lions. I mean, running backs are disposable. I get that. But the backfield in Indy's not bad. They got Marlon Mack and Naheem Hines. They complement each other. Jonathan Taylor's definitely a guy you want to have, but I would just argue maybe it wasn't as pressing of a need to use a second-round pick, but he's a terrific player. I love Julian Blackmon. I love seeing him go this high. He was one of the safeties I was higher on than most people. Value pick, though, it's Jacob Eason. I had them getting Jacob Eason in my mock draft in the second round. I did not think they're going to be able to sit there and wait till the fourth round to get a guy that absolutely, for Frank Reich, absolutely to sit behind Phillip Rivers, is an ideal candidate. This is an excellent landing spot. In terms of value, and I don't want to say steals, because he is the developmental quarterback, not ready to play yet. In terms of value, might be the most valuable pick in the draft for what a team needs. So congrats to that. Full round of applause for Colts, who I thought had definitely a fringe top 5 draft. And with Ballard, definitely one of the best run organizations in the NFL. Jacksonville, best value pick here for the Jacksonville Jaguars. This one was tough. I didn't really think they got any value. That was great. I thought they got guys that are appropriate, like Barch, 4th round, good pick. Hamilton, 3rd round, good pick. I like him. Chenal in the 2nd round, that's where he should have gone. I'll just say Chasson because of the fact that he could emerge. Edge rushers is a premium position. Quarterbacks and edge rushers are usually, these are guys that go, top 5. And the fact that Chasson has a high enough ceiling that he could emerge as the 2nd best edge rusher in this class after Chase Young, they got that at pick 20. So there could be some later value here in a couple years' time. So I'll give that one there to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Kansas City, what do we got here for the Chiefs? Value pick, I'll go Lucas Niang. Really productive tackle, long-term play, because I know he's probably going to be a swing tackle because he's not going to be taken over from Mitchell Schwartz, one of the best right tackles in the NFL. Could be, eventually, if you look at production and contract, a guy that takes over at left tackle sooner than later for Eric Fisher. But, I think it's a really good value pick there. Really strong alignment, should be a great swing tackle, and the upside to be an eventual starter. Getting that in the 3rd round, congrats on the pick. Chargers, best value here for the Chargers. I'm going to say it's Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly is exactly the type of running back stylistically they need to bring in and find to bring in and compare and help out and pair with Austin Eckler. I think Josh Kelly was a guy that I thought could be, every year there's a running back that's taken 3rd, 4th, 5th round that ends up being a starter when all's said and done at the end of the next season. I think Josh Kelly has that ceiling. Obviously, he won't be utilized in a way that he could be the 3-down starter because that's just not how the Chargers implement their running backs. But I think that is really, really good value. And, we have criticized the Kenneth Murray pick, giving up a 2 and a 3 to get Kenneth Murray. And he wasn't even my top linebacker. But Murray's still a good player. And I think they lucked out because without a 2 and a 3, they still had a very good 4th round pick, 5th round, 6th. Like, they had a really strong draft, which helps compensate for the value and the picks they had to give up to get Kenneth Murray. And I think Josh Kelly, really, really good value there for the Chargers. Rams, worst pick for the Rams. We talked about their kicker because they didn't really have a worst pick. And I'm going to say best pick for them was getting Bryson Hopkins. They got him at pick 136. I definitely think when 3-4 years from now, could emerge as the best tight end from this year's tight end class. Wasn't a particularly strong one, but really it was Cole Kmet, Bryson Hopkins, and Adam Troutman. Like one of those 3 guys could be the best. I mean, you got Albert O on the outside looking in. Maybe there's a couple other ones that could be on the outside. Like it wasn't a good tight end class where it really, it won't be. It will be maybe surprising because no one knows who will be the best tight end because it was that close. But I think Hopkins could very well be the next one. Maybe the value is a little bit weird because they have 2 tight ends ahead of them in Higbee, who caught on fire near the end of the year, and Everett is kind of like a weapon. And Hopkins is more like a Gerald. But I think it's a solid pick, getting a guy that could emerge as the best tight end in the class in the 4th round. Looking at Las Vegas, the Vegas Raiders, best value pick. There was really 2 that was tough. I love Bryan Edwards. I think Bryan Edwards is going to be a really nice wide receiver for them. But I think the best value is Amik Robertson. He is essentially Honey Badger for me. He might not be as successful as Honey Badger, but his tape was small school Honey Badger. And I think you got a guy here, play corner, he can play safety, he can do a lot of things for him. I think he's an upgrader over Joyner in the slot, who Joyner was not very good in the slot. I think they should move Joyner back to free safety, and then at strong safety. Man, I don't know, man. I thought the safety room for the Raiders is all messed up for me. But I think Amik Robertson should be the starting slot corner, and you got that in the 4th round. I'm pissed that Philly has like 62 slot corners because I would have loved Amik Robertson on this team. But it's a really good pick there for the Raiders. Miami, best value pick here for the Dolphins. There's some, I'll go Curtis Weaver. getting Curtis Weaver here at pick 164. Had elite production at Boise State. Kind of reminds me a little bit of a poor man's Derek Barnett, and Philly drafted Derek Barnett in the first round. And you get a guy that's very similar, like not a great athlete, but handsy, violent, good mentality. You got that at pick 164. So I'll give him as the best value pick. Borderline steal for the Miami Dolphins. Minnesota had a lot of steals. This was tough, pretty much picking who I thought was the top one. I'm going to go for them with James Lynch at pick 130. I think he's really good, versatile lineman. 3-4, 4-3, whatever you're playing, he could do whatever. I think he'll be a D. Someone was telling me they're switching to a 3-4. I don't know where I missed that, but if they either way, great fit at coming off the edge there. And but I mean, really, he's a value pick. You could say if you're just looking at the tape, not the athletic profile, Dantzler in the third could be a really good pick. Troy Dye, good pick. Harrison Hand, good pick. Willikis in the 7th round, good pick. Brian Cole, very interesting safety linebacker hybrid. Could definitely take over for that Sendejo role. Good value, but it's just an outstanding draft yet again from the Minnesota Vikings. I'll give the slight edge because I do like him and rate him high in James Lynch. New England, best value pick here for the Patriots. We are going to go with Josh Uche. I think he was one of the more slept-on edge rushers in the class. Definitely not my number 10 edge rusher. I think he's going to be really productive for the Patriots. Let's be honest, generally, though, pretty weird draft for New England, so I'll give them points for Uche. Best value pick for New Orleans Saints is Troutman. Again, kind of like we talked about all these times, could emerge as the best tight end in the class. They kind of low-key need to get younger and get a really nice, promising tight end prospect. So getting that in the 3rd round could be looked back upon in 2-3 years. Like, wow, he's the guy that can get 600-700 yards, 7-8 touchdowns every single year. We got him in the 3rd round when we didn't really have a whole lot of draft picks. That's crazy. And even Bond, if you're just paying attention to pre-draft hype, some people had Bond going in the 1st round. They got him in the 3rd round. Great value yet again for a team that didn't have a lot of picks last year and still found a way to get Eric McCoy and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Giants are up. Best value pick here for the Giants. I'm going to go Darnay Holmes in the 4th round. This is a team that really is struggling to find their identity in the secondary here. They shipped out Jabril Peppers. They brought in James Bradbury. That could be a good fit. But I think Darnay Holmes, really good corner. Can probably play on the outside, I think, if they really wanted to test the 5'10". Today's NFL, he's most likely going to be a slot corner, but a really good slot corner, great athlete. I think he should contribute and start sooner than later for that defense. Shane Lemieux as well. I had him as one of my higher rated guards in the 5th round. Was a good pick. Coughlin in the 7th, interesting player as well. Jets, another team that I gave an A+ to. They've been Dallas. Where do you want to talk about value picks? I think best pick for me, Ashton Davis is good value. Zuniga's good value. But it's got to be Bryce Hall. Bryce Hall, before the injury, had legit 1st-round buzz as a corner. Unless the injury is super serious, they got him in the 5th round at pick, where we got here? Pick 158 for a guy that right now is bringing in like the same at least like upside and talent as what they had for like Tremaine Johnson last year. Insane draft, top to bottom here. And I think Bryce Hall in the 5th was the best value of the bunch. Philadelphia, best value pick. We're going to go Tego Wanogo, the tackle here. Had slipped because of a knee injury, so obviously we're not going to know the true value. I really did like the Quez Watkins pick. I'm very interested with the Kevon Wallace pick and John Hightower. But just because Tego Wanogo was carrying a 2nd, 3rd round grade, we got in the 6th round. Very similar fall potential value that we got when we got Jalen Mills at LSU. So the value is there. Hopefully he can be healthy and maybe emerge as our starting swing tackle this year, taking over for Big V. Pittsburgh, best value pick for me would be McFarland. I didn't really think there's any value here. Like McFarland was going to go in this range, but I think for what he's going to bring to that backfield room, complement James Conner. Also, he'll be in there with Jalen Samuels, but I think good RB2 for Pittsburgh. He'll be the value pick. Seattle, best value pick for Seattle. We'll go Colby Parkinson. He was their best pick in my opinion, and getting him here at 133. I think he's going to be a really healthy tight end competition. Come in and complement what they have in Will Dissly. Look really good at the combine. Obviously, great frame to develop into a complete tight end. So, good pick for Seattle, even though I did give them overall a failing grade from this draft. Best value pick here for the San Francisco 49ers. Not a lot of value, so I'll just go default Kinlaw. Getting a guy like that who's, I thought was, top 15 talent. They got him at top 15. It was appropriate value. Tampa. Best pick here for Tampa. We're going to go Antoine Winfield Jr. at pick 45. This is a secondary that's not great. what was the last really good DB they had was like, Miko Grimes was there as well. Brent Grimes was like the last good DB they had. So Antoine Winfield can do a lot of things. He can play free safety. He can play strong safety. He can play nickel corner. I think he's instantly the best player, the most talented player in that secondary. So great value getting him in the second round. I thought he could potentially sneak into the first. Value pick here for the Tennessee Titans. We're going to go with the guy that I actually had as their best pick as well, and that's Christian Fulton. I thought Christian Fulton, even though a lot of people start to overanalyze this game, he's not a great tackler. For a man corner, high ceiling. He has all the potential to be maybe even in conversation with CJ Henderson to potentially be 3-4 years down the line the second best corner after Jeff Okudah in this class. The fact they got him here at pick 61, really, really good value to take a swing on that. I think he's a good fit there for a Mike Vrabel defense. And the best value pick here for the Washington Redskins is going to be Antonio Gandy Golden at pick 142. I mean, this is about where he was going to go, but he's a much better receiver than he is athlete. I think it's a great fit. Not similar player, obviously, but similar value, I think, potentially to what they got out of Scary Terry last year. Scary Terry was like a 3rd, 4th round pick. They got Kelvin Harmon really late. I think Gandy Golden could very well emerge as a starter by the end of the season for the Washington Redskins next year. Really, really good value, and they continue to get some nice mid-round wide receivers to come in and help out Dwayne Haskins. So there you go, guys. Those are all my steals and value picks here from the 2020 draft for all 32 teams. Let me know how you feel about it in the comments section below. That will do it for me here today for all the draft videos. Thank you for watching all 3. We did best and grades in one video. We did worst picks, and we finished up here. So if you haven't checked out, you missed any of those other ones, go check the old sub boxes and check it out and help support my channel. Well, that is it for me today, guys. Thank you for watching. As always, your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace